Nike is suing the largest secondhand sneaker marketplace. Why would they do this? And do they actually believe in sustainability? Let's go into the world of secondhand clothing. We've covered this on the show now for probably a year or so, maybe longer, frankly. Basically saying that secondhand is a whole new industry. You have basically the new clothing industry, and then you have the secondhand industry. And you need to actually think about these not as secondhand kind of nestled underneath and bundled as a part of new. And you need to actually think about it as new and secondhand. Make sense? Like two completely different segments of the textile and clothing industry. And why is that? Because when you peel back the curtain on what's going on in secondhand, there is actually so much happening that what you will see is there are many verticals and niches, multi-billion dollar niches within the secondhand industry. You need to think about it as a whole new category. So there's multiple players just in different geographies and in different parts of kind of high-end luxury. There's stuff more focused on like bags, like specific products, and then also things focused on sneakers. That's where we're going today. Traditional incumbents from the clothing retailers to the brands have been asleep at the wheel. Highest manufacturer I would give marks to would be Adidas. Adidas has really embraced this, or Adidas. And then for years, we've talked about what Foot Locker has done, investing in GOAT many, many years ago, $100 million. Great investment. I told the CEO to go do it. Great decision by Foot Locker on the retail side to get into this game. But there's a bunch of people besides those two companies that have done nothing or have done basically the very bare minimum. All these CEOs, by the way, that get up on their platform and talk about the environment and sustainability and this, right? And then they have this massive opportunity staring them right in the face. Actually, not only staring them in the face, a competitive threat to their business. They don't do anything. And if they do something, it's so lackluster, right? Multi-billion dollar company, bunch of resources, brand, all these things. What do? Nothing that exciting. Enter Nike. Nike, the biggest apparel brand in the world. What are they doing with secondhand and sustainability and this and that? Nike has decided to sue Stockx. The guy who runs Nike, the CEO, is the former CEO of eBay. This is what they do. They sue Stockx. This is the solution. Let's sue them. It's so ridiculous. Honestly, this is a win for Stockx. They're really just drawing more attention to Stockx. Oh, what is Stockx? Nike is suing Stockx. Oh, all these sneakerheads out there that love Nike that for some reason, maybe they haven't heard of Stockx. Oh, well, Nike is suing Stockx. Why didn't Nike sue GOAT? This makes Stockx look great because Nike didn't decide to sue Stockx and GOAT and Stadium Goods that Farfetch bought. Farfetch bought Stadium Goods for $250 million. Nike didn't sue them. They just sued the biggest player. And so what does that do to the biggest player? Reaffirm their status as the biggest player. I mean, these guys, what's wrong with them? At the very least, you got to sue everyone. If you're going to go to war, you got to go to war with the entire field. You can't just go to war with the biggest player. You're actually just going to make the biggest player even bigger. I didn't get an MBA. You don't need an MBA to figure this. This is not rocket science, guys. So this is what they decide to do. Do they decide to go do their own platform? No. Do they decide to try to launch their own NFT, to create a proprietary mechanism for Nike's really high-end sneakers, which is what Nike's complaining about, right? Have a Nike NFT that when you buy one of these super hard to get sneakers, which cost them $10 to make in a sweatshop in China, it comes with an NFT so you can verify that it was actually made. So what is Nike doing in this space? They're doing this thing called Nike Refurbished, launched last year. They're piloting it in 15 stores. Yep, 15. Consumers can buy refurbished Nike shoes at select stores but there's no broad consumer kind of trade-in program. And if you want to just give Nike your shoes, they have this thing called Nike Grind, which is a program to recycle materials to be reused by Nike and select partners. Consumers can donate shoes of any brand at Nike retail stores to be recycled into Grind materials. So it's not a trade, and it's just saying, hey, give us your old shoes and we will recycle them and, take care of their disposal in a responsible manner. Move to Zero is probably the best thing that Nike is doing in the sustainability space. It's an initiative committed to powering Nike facilities with 100% renewable energy by 2025 and slashing its carbon emissions around the global value chain by 30% within the next decade. Okay, it's great. But what are you doing at scale? What are you doing from a digital standpoint? How are you embracing this new business model? Rather than doing very linear things, which is this Nike Refurbish and this Nike Grind, right? Your CEO, he was the president of eBay Marketplace. And then he was appointed CEO of eBay, bought StubHub, right? The guy understands how to do marketplace M&A, but there's no action, right? I mean, it's a perfect example of large corporate, talks about sustainability, does these programs, has the opportunity to really embrace this concept at scale and propel it, like what Adidas is doing. Go check out what Adidas is doing. But no, that's not what they're doing. And they have the leader who knows how to execute on it. But for some reason, they're not doing it. And frankly, they don't have to just do it in the sneaker space, right? This is Nike. They do a bunch of things called not sneakers. Secondhand, lower end clothing part of the chain. You could go into the secondhand kind of luxury clothing part, right? There's so many areas in this secondhand marketplace world that Nike could decide to play, but it's not doing any of it. They're doing a pilot at 15 stores. And if you'd like to give them your old shoes, they will graciously take them and recycle them for you. It's a joke. 2022, right? Ex-CEO of eBay. Nothing. Let's just sue the biggest player because we say we bought 4 shoes off the platform and some of them were fake. It's just a cop-out. If you're interested in more videos on this content, go check out our videos about Adidas and what they are doing in the space, which we actually think is very interesting. Go look at their website. They've completely reimagined their website. Or go check out our older videos on Foot Locker investing into GOAT for $100 million many years ago. Those are actually players taking the initiative rather than what Nike is doing.